Good afternoon, everyone. Ruth and I had discussed that, since we started this YouTube channel, we really haven't told anybody about ourselves. So this is kind of our introductory video, which is kind of late, but welcome to watching.
And welcome to Stumpys Acres.
We are a small 29.5 acre farm, south central Alabama.
Tennessee.
Or Tennessee, I mean. I'm thinking Alabama, I don't know why. Probably because I travel down there quite a bit for work. But anyway, what got us into this 7 years ago? 8 years ago?
9 years ago.
9 years ago. We had talked about raising our own beef because the store-bought meat was getting expensive back then, and I really didn't like the flavor. So we were discussing on what type of animals to get, and I wanted Angus, and Ruth wanted
Dexter's. And so I introduced Mike to the Dexter's in a farm in Michigan. That's where we're from. And at first he said no. And I said, okay, well, you get what you want. I'm going to get the Dexter's. So I bought a bull and a heifer from our friends. And that was in August of 2014. And then the following March,
I went back and bought 2 more Dexters, one bred cow and another heifer, and that was the start of our herd. And we've been up to 24 head of cattle at one point.
Yep.
Maverick was our main herd sire, which he's the one that growls like a bear in one of the other videos and throws a fit, because this is the first year he has had to share his girls with Sheldon, which is going to be an up-and-coming herd sire for us.
Yep. And we also raised miniature silky fainting goats, which are after the silky terrier. They're known for their long silky fur or hair, it's called. It's a hair coat. And they also faint. So that's another one of the qualities of them. But they're more known for their long hair coat.
And we also, like you've seen in the videos, we are now raising cooney pigs. And so our farm right now is triple registered between the pigs, the cows, and the miniature silky fanning goats.
Yep.
As being registered breeders.
Yep. We also raise chickens. We have white rocks, which are pure white chickens. We have barred rocks, which are black and white. They kind of look like it's modeled in there, or checkered pattern, if you will.
Or a salt and pepper.
Yep, salt and pepper. And then the Rhode Island Reds. We have some of those. We have a white rock rooster. His name is Snowball. And I'll take you out tomorrow to look at the chickens. And we have he's a blue and white Cochin, which is a large rooster with feathered legs and feet, which he doesn't like to get dirty. So he stays inside most of the time. We have a white with black other smaller rooster. He's an exotic, but they didn't tell us what breed he is. I'm not sure if he's a Phoenix, because he does get a long tail feather, or he could be an Egyptian or a Polish. I'm not exactly sure, because he kind of looks like either one of those. And we also raise the Beltsville small turkeys, which were bred in the 1940s and the 1950s because of their smaller size. They didn't have big ovens back then. They get to be in between 10 and 15 pounds, which we have found to be the most perfect size for having turkeys, because we can have it more often, and it is a very flavorful meat, and there's not a lot of leftovers where you're eating turkey for weeks and weeks afterwards. You have enough for a couple days, and then that's it. So we love the taste of the turkeys that way.
And you'll notice on my t-shirt it says Rimrock Acres and then the 4-H symbol. Up in Michigan, Ruth was a horse leader to the Rimrock H's 4-H club, and I volunteered any way I could. 4-H, in my opinion, is very important to get our children into it. It helps them learn about animals and farming.
Also leadership skills.
Yes.
We also did shooting sports.
Yeah, I volunteered quite a bit for that because I enjoyed that.
Which is archery, BB, pellet, any type of firearm. And it also teaches them responsibility of the firearms. I also was a leader of the cake decorating, preserving, baking, and 18th century cooking clubs as well. Rimrock was, or still is actually, a very large, I think it's actually the largest 4-H group in St. Clair County in Michigan. Because they have leaders that cover all the different areas in 4-H, from photography to art to drawing to public speaking, you name it. They'll be able to help the kids get into it. Leaders that cover all the different areas in 4-H, from photography to art to drawing to public speaking, you name it. They'll be able to help the kids get into it. Down here in Tennessee, it's different. It is actually through the school system, which I don't agree with, because it should be a club-based, where it's at somebody's home where the kids get hands-on with the animals. It's not about bookwork. It's not about paperwork. It's about being with animals, also interacting with each other, and building leadership skills, because these are our future leaders, are the kids. So we're not involved with the 4-H down here in Tennessee. I have been looking in the FFA, and also been looking into the farmers market. There's a gal that works here locally here in town that I've met and become friends with, and we're doing the farmers market. We're starting ours April 1st. Well, it's actually hers, because she's more the brains and the organization behind it. But I'd like to get more involved with the farmers market down here.
Okay, and back to the cattle. We got our name known in Michigan by showing cattle at Armada Fair. We sold quite a few cattle up there and got our name out there. And since we've been in Michigan, I have taken
Tennessee?
Or in Tennessee, I have taken cattle back to Michigan and delivered them that we sold.
Yep, we still breed, and we are, like I said, registered herd. We're triple registered cattle herd. We do not buy any stock that is not registered, because we want to be 100% sure that the stock is Dexter. We don't want any crosses, and we also want to be able to keep track of the bloodlines and trace them back and make sure they're good lines for our herd.
And we actually had one bull that was transported to Kansas. He got his own herd.
Yep, he's part of another herd. So, but anyways, that is us in a nutshell. I'm a homemaker at the time right now, and I enjoy crocheting and gardening, as well as fishing. We do love to fish, and Mike likes to hunt.
Yep. And a little bit about my background. I'm a retired Navy chief. I spent 24 years serving this country. I won't say it was always great, but it did teach me a lot. And I've been a mechanic and a truck driver and a mechanic pretty much most of my life. So when I growing up as a kid, we had hogs and one cow and horses. And I've always loved farming. And when Ruth and I got together 10 years ago coming up,
Yep.
Ruth already had a chunk of property that we could set the farm up on. And then when our barn burnt in Michigan, that was the reason we moved to Tennessee.
Yep.
We lost, numerous animals in the barn fire, and tractors and everything else. So, and it was going to be cheaper for us to move
Than it was to rebuild.
out of Michigan, and the cost of living down here is substantially lower than what Michigan is.
Yep. But yeah, it was just easier on us financially to move than it was to rebuild.
So in a nutshell, that's about Stumpys Acres, how we got started.
Oh, you gotta explain how you got Stumpy.
All right, how we got the name Stumpys Acres is because it's acres of land that we're on. That's pretty self-explanatory, but throughout my naval career, especially towards after I made first class and especially chief, I was known as Chief Stumpy. With our last name being Humphrey, it isn't hard to derive where that came from, but Stumpy kind of stuck. And when Ruth and I first were talking about naming the farm, the first words out of my mouth were Stumpys Acres, and she loved it. So,
Yep.
but that's how the farm got named.
It had nothing to do with the fact that we have dwarf animals.
And
But-
actually, the first heifer or first cow that we had born from our stock that we bred on the farm, the first picture of her, she is laying in some little stumps. So it
Yep.
was kind of ironic.
Yep. So, yep. And we do have a couple of horses, and they're just basically retired
Pasture pets.
pasture pets. So, but
And then we've got dogs and cats, but you know,
Yep.
who doesn't at this day and age?
right. So, but we would love for you to continue to follow us and join us on our journey as we grow with our farm. We are looking to get possibly licensed to sell meat off the farm, but we need to expand our herd and grow it a little bit more. We were given some inaccurate advice to cut our herd back, which we did substantially, and it
Yeah,
hurt
from
us in the
24 to 11.
Yep, it hurt us in the long run. But we will be looking for probably a few more cows to add to our herd. If not this year, it'll be next year.
And we have 5 that are being bred
Right
this
now,
year, so we'll have 5 calves
Calves.
on the ground
Yep.
the end of this year.
yep, starting at the end of October and could run into January next year.
And then the beginning of next year, we'll have piglets from the Coonies because
Yep.
we have 2 gilts and 1 boar and 1 barrow, and the barrow is bacon seeds, and there's really no other way to put it except for his sole purpose is meat.
Yep, yeah, everything has a purpose on the farm, to sustain our farm. So
If it doesn't feed us or protect us, my motto is it doesn't come here.
right. Well, can't say that about the goats. But,
Oh, I know the goats. Well, how we got into the miniature silky fanning goats is Ruth's daughter, which is my stepdaughter that I love dearly, sent me a video about some little goats bouncing around, and then the next thing I know, I bought a little buckling. He was what, a month and a half old, I think.
Yeah, about 6-8 weeks old.
And we had just bought our truck, and it's got leather seats, and I got to bottle feed him before we left the farm where we bought him at, which was the same farm that we bought our Dexters from. And on the ride home, he peed on me 3 times in the seat of the truck, and I'm yelling at Ruth, "Stop the truck!" And she's over there laughing and carrying on. Well, yeah, by the time we got home, every time she'd finally get the truck stopped, and I'd get the little goat out. His name is Frankie, which there's pictures of him on the farm page. But every time that I got out of the truck, he'd just look at me like, "Okay, why are we out of the truck? Now I'm done." And we'd get back in the truck, drive a little bit further, and he would have to go again, and I'd be screaming at her, "Stop the truck!" That's exactly what she was doing. She couldn't drive.
Laughing too hard.
So, but that was our first experience with the goats, and Frank is what, 5 years old now?
Yeah.
So that was 5 years ago. But that was our first experience.
Yep. And then there's pictures of the does and the baby kids that we've had this year, and they'll be bred again this month, and we'll have new kids coming in July in the summer.
Yeah.
It's 5 months, so there'll be bred put in with Rembrandt this time. We bought another buck, and
He's blue.
yeah, blue, and it's gray that looks blue and white, and they'll be bred to him, and so they'll kid in 5 months. So March, April, May, June, July, actually it's be August, they'll be due to kid.
And one of the kids, the little female, if she's still here, because she's for sale, but if she's still here, she's going to be bred as well.
Yeah. And so
So we may end up with 6 more goats.
yeah, depending if they twin or not.
So, okay.
Yep. So, but anyways, in a nutshell, that's Stumpy's Acres. And again, we'd love for you to follow us along on our journey. And if you like our videos, please like, subscribe, and you help us out by just sharing them.
And we try to put videos out there that are entertaining,
Educational.
also educational. If there's any ideas that you would like to see us do on a video, send us a line, drop
Yep.
us a note, let us know.
Yep.
And we will do our best to accommodate whatever we can with what we have here on the farm.
Yep, absolutely. If you have any questions, just, put them in the comments. We'll answer them. So,
Thank you for your time. Thank you for watching. And if you enjoy us, like, subscribe, and share.
that's the best way to help us out is by sharing our videos.
All right. And y'all have a pleasant night.
And
Thank you for coming along.
Yep, God bless. Take care. Bye-bye.